The thing they said would break you is actually building you. There are moments in life when you stand at the edge of your own story and realize something so profound it changes everything. The thing you thought would destroy you, the weight you carried in silence, the night you cried so hard you couldn't breathe, that wasn't your ending. That was your beginning. I recently sat down with VeElla Ilion, and I need you to understand something about this woman. VeElla is not just changing lives, she is reshaping the narrative for an entire generation of Black women. She is a force, a voice, a light in spaces that have tried to dim her. She has dedicated her existence to uplifting Black women, to teaching young girls that their power is not conditional, and to reminding every single one of us that faith is not a Sunday morning accessory, it is the architecture of survival. Her work is not loud, it is not performative, it is deep, it is intentional. It is the kind of work that shifts the ground beneath your feet and makes you stand taller without even realizing it. And when she spoke to me, when she poured her wisdom into our conversation, I felt something shift inside me because VeElla reminded me of a truth we all forget when life gets hard. Faith is not something you pull out when you need a miracle. Faith is what you build your entire life on, especially when the floor is crumbling beneath you. She said something that I have not been able to stop thinking about. She said, faith is foundational, not optional, not a backup plan, foundational. It is the thing you stand on when everything else falls apart. It is the whisper in your spirit that says, keep going, even when your body is screaming, stop. It is the knowing deep in your bones that you are held even when you feel like you are falling. And I want to tell you about someone who lived that truth in a way that saved the world, literally. Her name is Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett-Tent. You might not know her face, but you know her work. Dr. Corbett is a Black woman, a leading immunologist, and one of the brilliant minds behind the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Yes, that vaccine, the one that brought hope back into hospitals, the one that allowed grandparents to hug their grandchildren again, the one that reminded us that science, when guided by purpose and faith, can change the trajectory of humanity. But here's what they do not tell you in the headlines. Dr. Corbett grew up in a small town in North Carolina. She was often the only Black face in her advanced science classes. She was questioned, she was doubted, she was underestimated in rooms that should have been celebrating her brilliance. The systemic barriers were not just obstacles, they were designed to make her quit, and yet she did not because Dr. Corbett had something that no amount of skepticism could touch. She had faith. She had a family that told her she belonged. She had a community that reminded her she was capable. She had mentors who saw her genius and refused to let the world erase it. And when the pandemic hit, when the entire world was drowning in fear and uncertainty, Dr. Corbett showed up. Not because it was easy, not because she had all the answers, but because her faith gave her the strength to keep going when the weight of the world was on her shoulders. She worked tirelessly under public scrutiny, under immense pressure, under conditions that would have broken most people. And she delivered. She led her team to create one of the most effective vaccines in modern history. Millions of lives saved, millions of families reunited, millions of futures restored, all because one Black woman refused to let doubt define her. That is what VeElla means when she says faith is foundational. It is not about having a perfect life. It is about trusting that even when you cannot see the way forward, God does. And that trust, that belief, that unshakable knowing, that is what carries you through the fire. Now, let's talk about your journey because I need you to hear this. The trials you have been through, the nights you sobbed into your pillow, the mornings you dragged yourself out of bed, even though every part of you wanted to stay under the covers, those moments are not wasted. They are not meaningless. They are your power. VeElla said something during our conversation that hit me so hard, I had to pause the recording. She said, "Your journey is your power. The trials you experience, whether it is homelessness, working multiple jobs, or being underestimated, can become the source of your greatest achievements." Let me tell you about Khadijah Williams. Khadijah spent much of her youth homeless. She moved between shelters, she slept in cars, she woke up not knowing where her next meal would come from or where she would lay her head that night. The instability was relentless. The stigma was suffocating. The world told her in 1,000 different ways that she did not matter. But Khadijah had something the world could not take from her. She had faith, she had focus, she had a dream that refused to die no matter how many times life tried to kill it. She used libraries as her sanctuary. While other kids were going home to warm beds and full refrigerators, Khadijah was in the corner of a library surrounded by books, studying like her life depended on it, because it did. She kept her grades up, she kept her spirit up, she kept moving forward, even when the road was impossible. And then the unthinkable happened. Khadijah Williams was accepted to Harvard University. Harvard, one of the most prestigious institutions in the world, opened its doors to a young Black woman who had been told by society that she was disposable. But Khadijah did not just go to Harvard and disappear into privilege. She graduated, she became an advocate for homeless youth. She became a voice for young people who are surviving in the shadows, who are fighting battles no one sees. She turned her pain into purpose. She turned her struggle into a platform. She became living proof that your circumstances do not define you. Your choices do. That is what VeElla wants you to understand. Your journey, no matter how messy, no matter how painful, is not a liability. It is your superpower. It is the thing that makes you relatable. It is the thing that makes you real. It is the thing that allows you to look another woman in the eye and say, I have been there and I made it out, and so can you. But here's where it gets even more critical, because it is not enough to just survive. It is not enough to just make it through. We have a responsibility, a sacred, non negotiable responsibility to turn around and pull the next generation up with us. VeElla was so passionate about this point. She said we must intentionally teach our youth about their strength, resilience, and heritage, just as our parents and grandparents did for us. And I want to talk about someone who embodied that with every breath she took. Her name was Madam C.J. Walker. You have heard her name. You know she was the first self made female millionaire in America. But let me tell you her story, because it is not just about wealth, it is about legacy. It is about what happens when one woman decides that her pain will not be the end of her story, it will be the beginning of someone else's freedom. Madam Walker was born to former slaves. Let that sink in for a moment. She entered this world as the child of people who had been considered property. She was orphaned at age 7. She faced poverty so deep it should have swallowed her whole. She had limited access to education. She faced racial discrimination. She faced gender discrimination. She faced a world that was designed to keep her small, silent, and struggling. But Madam Walker had something that no system could suppress. She had faith. She had the memory of her mother's teachings. She had a vision for what was possible. And she decided that she was going to create something that would last, something that would empower other Black women, something that would shift the economic landscape for generations. She developed hair care products specifically for Black women at a time when the beauty industry pretended we did not exist. She built a business from the ground up. She mentored other Black women and gave them opportunities to become financially independent. She created thousands of jobs. She supported Black colleges. She funded civil rights causes. She did not just build wealth, she built a movement. She did not just change her life, she changed the lives of countless women who came after her. And that is what VeElla is calling us to do, to take what we have learned, what we have survived, what we have overcome, and to pour it into the next generation, to mentor young Black women, to tell them their stories matter, to remind them that they come from a long line of warriors, of dreamers, of women who refuse to be erased. Because here is the truth: if we do not teach them, the world will. And the world will tell them they are not enough. The world will tell them to shrink. The world will tell them that their dreams are too big, their voices are too loud, their presence is too much. But we know better. We know that they are exactly enough. We know that their dreams are not too big, they are just getting started. We know that their voices are not too loud, they are the sound of change. So, what does this all mean for you? What does this mean for us sitting here trying to figure out how to move forward in a world that feels heavy and hard and exhausting? VeElla left me with three things, three truths that I want you to carry with you long after this conversation ends. First, faith is foundational. No matter what obstacles you face, putting God first gives you the strength and guidance to persevere. It is not about being perfect. It is not about having it all figured out. It is about trusting that you are held, that you are guided, that you are loved even when you cannot feel it. Second, your journey is your power. The trials you experience, whether it is homelessness, working multiple jobs, or being underestimated, can become the source of your greatest achievements. Do not hide your story. Do not minimize your struggle. Own it. Share it. Let it be the bridge that connects you to someone else who desperately needs to know they are not alone. And third, uplift the next generation. We must intentionally teach our youth about their strength, resilience, and heritage, just as our parents and grandparents did for us. Mentor someone, speak life into someone, show up for someone. Because the legacy we leave is not measured by what we accomplish, it is measured by who we empower. VeElla's words reminded me why this work matters, why the soft girl era is not just a phrase, it is a revolution. It is not about being weak, it is not about giving up, it is about releasing the cape, it is about redefining strength, it is about learning to be soft in a world that taught us survival. Because here's the thing: you do not have to carry everything, you do not have to be strong all the time. You do not have to prove your worth to anyone. You are already enough. You are already powerful. You are already exactly who you were meant to be. And when you root yourself in faith, when you own your journey, when you pour into the next generation, you become unstoppable. Not because you are hustling harder, but because you are grounded deeper. So I want to leave you with this. What if the thing you have been running from is actually the thing you are supposed to run toward? What if your pain is your purpose? What if your story is the key that unlocks someone else's freedom? Dr. Kizmikia Corbett proved it. Madam C.J. Walker lived it. Khadijah Williams embodied it. VeElla Ilion is teaching it. And now it is your turn. Here is what I need you to do. I need you to stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting until you feel ready, because you are ready right now. Put God first. Own your journey, every messy, beautiful, painful part of it, and uplift the next generation. Mentor a young woman. Share your story. Speak life into someone who is struggling to see their own worth. Do not let another day go by where you are hiding your light because you think it is too much. Do not let another week pass where you are carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. And do not let another year slip away where you are surviving instead of thriving. The world needs you, not the exhausted, overextended version of you, the real you, the soft you, the powerful you, the you that has been waiting to bloom This is your invitation. This is your permission. This is your moment. Step into your soft girl era. Step into your power. Step into the life you were always meant to live. And watch what happens when you stop doubting and start believing, when you stop hiding and start shining, when you stop surviving and start thriving. Welcome home.